Thank you. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. So, if you're just joining, well, all of us are just kind of joining, but hit that like button for me. I definitely appreciate that on all the different platforms. Welcome. So, we're getting into the Enzo X today, which is I've had for a few days now, and I have to say I am very impressed with this little pedal here. Very impressed. Let me get my mic up a little bit here. So I'm very impressed with this little pedal. Sounds amazing. Tons of different effects and options. And as you can hear, you could do everything from, oh, turned it off, sorry. Things like this to actual bass synths, right? And so you've been hearing a mixture of presets that are the stock presets as well as bass synths that I've created in here. The bass synths the bass synth presets I was not too impressed with, but after I took the time to do some, research, manual diving, and things like that, I've been able to come up with some cool patches like the first one we was listening to. Straight up bass synth, very nice. And it's tracking well. Now, there's certain little things I may not necessarily like about the tracking, but we'll get to that later. for the most part, it does track well. You have to play very cleanly. I suggest you get something like a fret rep. These help a lot. Not that you can't do it without it if you have clean technique. Now, it does struggle a bit with some of the really, really super fast passages. Like, say you're doing like... Now, without it... But, you know, so it does track well, reasonably well. And just so you can have a comparison in the sound quality of it, here is a similar patch I created on the C4 synth. Compared to, and you have to EQ your bass slightly different for these as well. So, you know, it sounds exactly like a keyboard. Like, I mean, just to be honest, I mean, mind you, you can't actually play this with a keyboard. So, I mean, that's just incredible. You can take this same bass sound here, hook up your keyboard, run your bass synth sounds, and run your bass input as well. You can do both of those things, and that makes this an amazing buy. Especially, you know, for me, the $600 price point was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That was like, I usually don't spend more than $500 for pedals in general. Typically, you know, when you're getting over that mark, you're not getting as much for your return in terms of, does it really sound that much better than other things that don't cost $500? But this particular pedal here, there is nothing in the price range that will allow you to do the things that this pedal can do. So let's just talk about some of the things that this pedal can actually do. It got monophonic and polyphonic. So it has mono dry as well as mono synth, poly dry, poly synth, and then it also has a ARP mode pretty much, which is the arpeggiator. So good example of that would be you also bring that So you got tons of different things that are actually real synth. This is a real synth sound there. Stuff like this. Oh my goodness. What? Oh, we gotta play around. So just a gorgeous sound to it. And even has these, you know, the ability to have trails and different things like that. So even after you turn the effect off, it goes ahead and finishes out the sound. It doesn't just cut it off and then you just without the sound. But it's just, wow, the sound quality. I hope that sound quality is really coming through because it's absolutely amazing. So not only do you get those synth modes, you know, different modes like that, you also get chorus, flanger. You also get chorus, flanger, phaser, and vibrato, along with a bit crusher, a ring mod. You get 3 different types of reverb from the Mercury X algorithms, and then you also get a tuner. You even get a tuner. Look, you press that. Hold on, let me go on back to the other view real quick. Go here. You got the tuner. You can tune up. You can tune, do everything. You literally use this like its own little personal multi-effects unit. For real. Because you can have things on your dry path and not on the synth path. Like if you wanted chorus on the dry signal, but not the actual affected signal, synth signal, you can do that. If you, vice versa as well, and the same thing with the reverb and the drive as well. You get tube drive. You get it's about my little pamphlet thing. I don't think they say which types of drives and stuff in here. Okay, but I think you get about 5 different types of drives in there. Let me see something real quick. See if it's in here. No, it's not. I'm gonna pull up the manual, cause you gotta keep this This one of the manuals you absolutely gotta keep somewhere by you, cause it is a lot of stuff. Okay, so you get the 5 synth modes, which we went through, are the polysynth, monosynth, arpeggiated, ARP synth, which is arpeggiated. Then you get the polychrome, polysynth, poly pitch shifting as well as you get the mono pitch shifting. So then you got 3 different reverbs in there from the Mercury X, 5 drives, including the bit crusher. You get a full stereo 2.5 second delay and 5 modulations types, which we went over. So amazing unit. And I have my bass EQ way different than I do for all my other pedals, like my octave pedals and synth pedals. Normally I would be more in the high mids, but this one, for this particular pedal, I found it tracks way better if you do it. Sorry about that, guys. Tracks a lot better if you do it with your low mids. So I have like my low mids boosted on here, very boxy sound. My lows are actually flat, and I have my highs rolled all the way off. So as you can hear, it's a very boxy sound, but when you actually use it, it allows it to track really well. You still have a really full sound. Beautiful. Just been scrolling through these presets a little bit. Matter of fact, this is another one of my favorites. So it does a good job tracking a lot of frequencies on it. Mind you, the only other thing on right now is the source audio Atlas compressor, which is doing just a little bit of compressing and limiting. Without it, just more so keeps it in check, but it does add a little bit of character to it, so had to make that clear. But this is kind of my always on compressor at the end of my chain, so stereo compressor. But that, other than that, it's just the Enzo X, and that's what's amazing. And then you can still just use all these sounds with a keyboard if you wanted to. That like button for me. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on all the platforms. Make sure you hit that like button while y'all here for me. As well as, while we stop for a second, I'm going to actually create a whole pack for this Enzo X. So eventually all my presets, the exact way I have them, you'll have access to them. Not these stock presets that we're going through, like the actual bass synth ones, like the bass synth we went through. Let me get to another one. This is another one I created. This is more of a lead. I love the imaging of this pedal. First of all, I know we're supposed to go to another one of my patches, but you gotta appreciate these stock patches being amazing like this. What? Ooh, that's fire. listen to that detail. You even get this this like white noise generator in there. That's what you're hearing now. It's like that wind noise. Oh, that's so pretty. But let's go to, so there's another patch I made that'll be available. You know, once I finish going through fine tuning these for you guys, of course, I'm gonna have them available for you. Of course, gotta have them available. Let's hear a little bit of that. So you could do a lot with just the filter. So while we're here, we might as well just kind of go through a little something here. One of the main things that's going to determine the tracking on this pedal is that note persist. So you want to definitely change that. A lot of these patches, they come with it on infinity, and you definitely don't need it on infinity for bass. Definitely causes things to like really glitch out and just the tracking and really be horrible. But as you can see, it's not terrible. It's not the worst tracking ever. Here's the C4 synth. You know, compared so the tracking is not too far off from where the C4 synth is. I will say the C4 synth does slightly track better in that mono synth mode, but in all the other modes, the Enzo X definitely tracks better. Like as you can see, or as you heard there, the C4 synth definitely tracks very well if you play cleanly. But the Enzo X still has, like, if you, it's not even about if you're playing it cleanly. It's about how fast you're playing it. One more time. Compared. But as you can see, the sound quality of the Enzo X is extraordinary. Like compared to the C4 synth, it is. Even though the C4 synth definitely is not going to lose its place on my board at all anytime soon. It definitely is one of my main go-to synth pedals, bass synth pedals. But like, do you hear that sound quality? And I can come here, come to the filter, and let's turn this back to 0. Right? I can turn it up. And this is just me changing the filter, the top end of the filter. All sub. You know, you're definitely going to need headphones or something that something you can hear the stereo and these subs on. Like that's a lot of bottom on that. What I turn on? Whole different sound just by changing the filter top end. That's why I love this joint, because it's like you can take a simple sound and just play around with the filter settings. What kind of filter is this? It's the ladder filter. Straight up 808. Straight sub killer. I'm actually gonna say that with it wide open like that. And another feature, you got two different ways you can save things on here. You can either press and hold this once, and it'll bring you to. I might as well do it. It'll bring you to this menu, where this is where you change the name of things and the slot number. If you want to save it to your favorites, you can select the heart. You know, you just turn this and you can change various things. If you don't want to change anything, you press it again and hold it, and it saves it. Now, if you want to do a quick save, say you just made a quick tweak like I did and you didn't really change a whole lot and you don't need to change the name or any of that stuff, you can literally press and hold the actual corresponding foot switch for that sound. So for this one, it would be 3. As you can see, the 3 buttons lit up. You can either press and hold the 3 button or the 3 foot switch 3 rather. So lots of very intuitive, very necessary features. Change the mod depth there, so now it's a You got a lot of vibrato to it. You can go into the menu and set the ramp feature, the mod ramp. Let me see where it's at. The mod ramp. There it is. And you can set it. Well, you see it doesn't immediately come in, but you can set that even longer. Let's see, that's too long. A little longer. You can set it so it comes in, the vibrato happens immediately. See? And right now I'm in the text mode and I'm on the edit. I'm in the edit. I'm on the text view rather, and I'm on the edit mode. So each of these corresponding knobs is corresponding to a parameter on the screen, which makes it a lot easier. I like the other mode, the graphic mode as well, but this particular, the text view mode allows you to edit like, you know, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parameters at once. Versus the other graphic mode only lets you edit one parameter at once. Then you gotta pretty much use these two knobs to navigate the screen, or these three knobs rather. But you know, so now if I don't want that depth so much, I can dial it out there. I can add more. So it really affects it. All right. And if I wanted to, from this screen, I could also change the oscillator waveforms. So right now that was a square wave on oscillator 1. I just changed it to a triangle. I can change it to a saw wave. And yep. So, and then you can just play around, mix and match them. I can change the wave on top to, let's do a saw and a saw wave. Saw wave on the bottom, saw wave on top. I can change this to a square wave on top, saw wave on the bottom, change the bottom to a triangle, top is a square. What's going on, Laurie? Nah, we've been going for about 46 minutes now. I don't know why they haven't notified folks, you know, sending out notifications, but I appreciate all y'all hanging out with me anyway. And make sure you hit that like button while you're here. If you want some of my presets for any of these other pedals that I have preset packs, you can check out the Patreon, or if you just want to support the channel more, allbasscreations.patreon.com. And then we got packs for the C4 Synth, the Zoom MS-60B Plus, the MS-70 CDR Plus. We also have, what else we got? We got packs for something else. We got packs for something else. I just can't remember. Oh, the ToneX one. We got 11 different preamp packs for that and different stuff. So appreciate you guys hanging with me for sure. Appreciate you, Remy, over on TikTok. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys on all the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. All right, so you also get a detune here. You can detune that top. Hold on, let me go back to the original patch there. All right. So we can add more detune if we would like. You get some really weird bass sounds out of this thing. What's going on, Neo? Yeah, this Enzo X is the truth. Like it definitely is worth the bread. You really can't. I can't. Before I got it, I couldn't justify it, and it may have been you that suggested it that I check out the Enzo X, but one of my amazing subscribers on YouTube, I appreciate you all, recommended that I check it out. And, I had seen it before they recommended it, but their recommendation definitely kind of swayed me a little bit. So don't be afraid to recommend me pedals or things you want to see me review, because I definitely read all the comments and different things. And I try to, if I can work it into the budget and work it, into the schedule, I do try to. This will be a good example. And I'm glad I listened. And let me tell you, I'm so glad I listened to you. So whoever you are, feel free to comment. Let me know if you happen to see this. So, but yeah, then you in tune. Let me see something here. Now you can really hear it there. And you can change the pitch of each of these oscillators. You get 2 oscillators pretty much at once. And you can change. Mind you, you can do all this. You can use an expression pedal to control up to 6 parameters at a time. That's insane. You also get modified, like LFO modifiers. You get 3 of those, I believe. You get a LFO A and B, and then a S and H, which is like a random type of thing. But what? Like, how did they pack all this into this one little pedal? I'm not even sure. Put that on. Oh, that's dirty. Appreciate you, Neo, with the super chat. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Oh, madam. I'm not sure. But I appreciate it. I can't see the pictures right now. But I definitely appreciate you, Neo. It means the world to me when y'all support me, because you don't have to. And I appreciate it. Thank you. You could get such dirty bass sounds out of this, just changing the oscillator forms. And I noticed certain waveforms like certain octaves better. So like, if you're on TikTok and you want a better view, you can head over to YouTube and find my page at the Bass Negus, Negus, and you'll get a much better view of the pedal board and everything else. And I just created this sound just turning some knobs just now. You know, yes, I have the tracking and stuff dialed in. It took me about an hour or two to just get that tracking, like when I go to set up patches to get the tracking just right, along with how I need to EQ my bass. I was trying to EQ like my other octave pedals, but like I said, other octave pedals, you want to really cut the bass and boost the high mids. With this particular synth pedal, you want to boost your low mids, just leave the bass frequencies flat, and actually cut your highs, and it actually will help it track. And then you just got whole new sounds just like that. But yeah, let's go into something else. Another one of my favorite, this Poly Afterglow is insane. This glide on this joint is crazy. In poly mode, it tracks them chords exceptionally well. See, I even created a patch where it's just for like my chordal plane, because this smaller board, instead of having that one big pedal board you see back there, which is a Terra Nova 42, you know, big 61 key size keyboard, I actually split it up into two boards that are half the size of that. So this is my main gigging board here for bass, and I use the Enzo X at the end of the chain. So now I can have some reverb and just something simple for some chords, you know. turn on this ToneX real quick. Mind you, got 11 different preamp packs available for that. Insane. This is actually the Ampeg BA back there. Let's get this tone right. We're gonna go over to this ambient section here, and that was the medium. So it has a small, medium, and large prism. Let's go with the large prism. 35% decay, a little mod on there. Let's bring down some of these highs and lows. Let's bring this mix to 24. Let's bring the mix up. Hear the quality of that reverb there? Turn it all the way up. And the other thing is, because you have a dry path and an affected path, you know, basically a dry and a wet path, you know, you have a stereo dry and stereo wet, right? And that mix you can control as well. So here's 100% of the reverb. So that's 100% of the reverb, and I can also have like my actual dry. So even though in the actual mix of the wet signal, I have 100% of the wet signal, I can come to the overall mix of the unit of the preset. Now I can have these big giant reverbs like that and still have a lot of modulation if I would like to as well. Say I wanted this is a flanger on here now. And we're gonna turn that flanger up. Now I can have that post. Where is it? Yep, I can have it post the reverb or pre-reverb, pretty much post ambience, pre-ambience, or on the actual dry and pre-ambient stage, or just on the dry signal, which is crazy. Watch this. So let's change this location. This is the pre-ambient. You hear that reverb's not affected by it now, but when you put it post, opposed to the ambience, which is the reverb. You can hear the reverb running into the flanger there. Now, we come to put it on the dry signal, and it's not on the wet signal. It's on just the dry. Hear that reverb? There's no flanger on it. So if I just want, I could turn off the modulations, or I could turn off the ambience. Let's see, turn off the. Now I can just use the modulations. This way you get into just beyond it just being a synth pedal. And this is where I feel like it really starts to come into being, all right, justifiable, and a justifiable purchase. It's not a cheap purchase. As you can see, the Hog 2 is not a cheap pedal. Hog 2 is like still about $550, and it's about 10 years old. Granted, it's still one of the best octave pedals I've ever played. I haven't tried the new Pog 3 for the same reason I wasn't about to, almost didn't try the Enzo X. So, but you know, it's expensive. It's about $600-something. But with the Enzo X, it was something so different than anything else. It was so different than the Hog 2. The Pog 3, for me, it is massively different. Has a lot of differences, a lot of upgrades, but this is something that's completely different in a league by itself, with the quality of the reverbs, the quality of these modulations. This is on my dry signal. That's insane. And you got different modes for that particular how many modes is that? So you got vintage, flat, and inverted for the flanger, you know. So that's crazy. You get the ring modulator. Change that mix. So it's like you really are getting a multi-effects unit. You're not just getting a... I am going to check out the Future Impact. That will probably be something next up. Future, you ruined my surprise, Roderick. Thanks a lot. That was one of my things I am going to do. I am going to, because I want to compare the C4 Synth, the Enzo X, and the Future Impact version 4. So if you like that type of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you are. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, hit that like button. If you want to hit that super chat, Cash App, I definitely appreciate all that as well. Or if you want to hit that Patreon, support the channel long term, it's All Bass Creations, All Bass, like bass guitar creations, and patreon.com for those of you on TikTok. But yeah, and if you want a better view of the pedal board, you can head over to YouTube and at the Bass Negus, Negus. But the fact that you get so many effects on here, where is that? Let me see. If you wanted to use this in conjunction with something like the C4 synth. Or if you just want to use it with a straight up octave down, do that as well. You can keep that filter section in there as well. Go to oscillator section and let's see, let's put it in, yeah, it's probably dry mode. Trying out some different stuff, you know, but trying to find a way to get this filter envelope involved here. There we go. That's more than just like an octave down, and the dry mono mode here. Let me see if I can make this screen easier to see. The screen is just undid all my work. But you get the point. You go to dry mono mode, bring that down an octave, and then just add in the filter. You know, bring the low pass filter, bring the top end of the filter down to cut off, and then go from there. And I think we'll try that again because it shouldn't take but a second, right? Turn the ambience off. Okay. Okay. And let's see. Change that envelope to envelope type. See with a little bit more depth. And we're going to I'm sorry. What's going on? Yeah, oh, I'm glad you got yours. See, it's an amazing pedal, and like I said, I'm also gonna have a pack for it soon. You know, it is the app and all that stuff. I'm using a MacBook Pro. Just a heads up, the app was a little shaky for me. So, you know, I'm doing all my editing and stuff on the actual pedal, but there is an app for this pedal as well, and it backs up your presets, but you have to import and export your presets, like so I can send it to you guys a different way. But I'll hip you guys to the whole process. But yeah, we getting there, guys. Where's the resonance? Just the depth. Yeah, see, now we're getting there. Starting to get to like a real octave or sound. Yeah, I'm gonna end up just saving that there. I could recreate that chord pattern. That's actually pretty good. And I like how they included buttons here in addition to the foot switches. So if you're using this on like with your hands, you don't have to use the foot switches. You can actually just press it with your hand. I'm trying to get this Hog 2 sound in there. Why? For you guys, of course. What was I doing? It's like I need a little more resonance. Let's maybe add some drive on that. Where's the drive? There it is, drive. Let's put I like this op amp. This is actually close to just like a OC2 type of sound. Think we're getting somewhere, folks. Getting close. Think I want a nice chorus. Try a nice chorus on there. Yeah, I like that. And so it's a good time to show the saving process. So I pressed down this button here, held it. Now we're going to leave that part of the name. Scroll to the part of the name we want to change the character with this, and we'll name this oct down or oct -1 or something like that. So let's go with that. Once you get used to it, you can do it relatively fast. If you want to delete a character, you can press this once, just press it. If you want to add a character or something, you can press this button. We're going to go over here. If you want to change the general character, you know, I guess capital capital letters, lowercase letters, and numbers. You can change that through here. So I want to get to the sign. So I want minus. There's a plus. Here's a minus. Move this over. I want to get to the numbers. -1. All right. So now I can press and hold this, and it saved it. Yeah, that's dirty. Stop playing. Now, if you want to, I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna have that preset available in the pack that's gonna be on Patreon. Got to give me a week or two because I really like to dial in my stuff, and I like to use it on gigs first. I like to play with it out, hear it in a bigger setting before I get it to you all, because otherwise, you don't want somebody just cranking out crap in their room and they not going on actual stages and seeing how things feel and sit in a mix and everything else. So, that. And it really is this octave is depending on your EQ, how you have your bass EQ. If I turn the bass down, if I change to the boost in the low mids, if I bring back up some of the low end, but I prefer with this sound to have the high mids boosted and then the bass boosted just a little bit. Get that real pillory octave type sound. And the amazing thing about this unit is you still have, other drive units available. If I wanted to drive this harder, I could. I can change that to different type. And let's change. You can add more dirt, you can add more filter, you can add modifiers, you can add more modulations, ton of different things you can do with this pedal. That's what makes it amazing. But I don't want to get stuck on one thing because it's so much to cover. We're already an hour and a half That's crazy. It's that arpeggiator. This is where this unit kills the C4, and even though I don't have a Future Impact version 4 yet, this is where the Enzo X smashes them. This not even close. They can't do anything with this. Like, they're not designed to. That's fire. I know y'all heard that tail on that Jane. What? Here's another bass synth I created. And here's yet another one. This one is even more flexible. Mind you, let's go back real quick because that filter, sweeping that filter is going to make all the difference. Right? So every sound you hear just can be multiplied by changing small things, especially things like that filter cutoff. So don't forget now, that filter cutoff can give you a whole darker tone for for instance, a verse, or say you don't need a sound that's like so in your face, you know? Same thing, just filter halfway. Filter up halfway is different than filter all the way down and all the way up. They all sit differently in a mix and will feel differently. But now the next one is another. This one I wanted to get more towards that Moog bass sound. So that filter cutoff can become super important to the overall quality of the sound there. Take you from just a sound that's way too in your face to something that'll sit nice in your mix. Like I said, don't worry about all the individual settings. One, is too many settings for me to even give them out to you guys. But two, it's going to be in the pack on Patreon. Make sure you check out my Patreon, allbasscreations.patreon.com. You can support the channel. If you want more content like this, you know, I had to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go get this pedal, not just for myself, but so I can review it for you guys. So if you want to support that and you appreciate that, you can leave a super chat, Cash App, or go over to the Patreon and support long term, where it helps me get things done like this sooner. This is one of their built-in, their stock factory presets. See, and this is where it throw you off, because you be thinking that it doesn't sound good or the unit's trash when it comes to bass stuff. You know, anything, because I mean, all the ambient sounds you can just play, all the poly stuff with pads, you can just sit there and play it, but the bass stuff, you can't. You gotta have a little bit of help on that. So let's get to it. See what I want. I want the amp envelope, and let's change the note persist down to like 0.693, something like that. Okay, we'll leave the rest of that the way it is right there, but we'll come over to oscillators. Let's see what we got going on. Matter of fact, let's go back. That's the decay, the release. Bring this. Let's take some of this drive off. It's too much drive. See now? You see how much work I had to do on that joint to get it there, but like I said, all these will be available. You know, that's completely different than the original preset. It's completely different. I had to change so much stuff in there. But as you can see, compared to the original, a much more usable sound. If it's not usable, then what's the point? So we're just going to make this simple for me. Change this name. And voila. You want to change the sound of that? Change the filter? You want straight up sub bass? That's with the cutoff around 200, somewhere around there. Actually around 300. You know, and one of the biggest reasons I'm taking the time to explore the bass synth parts, because all the demos I seen just been pad stuff a lot of the times. Everybody, it's like they ain't really tried to get to the actual bass stuff in the pedal. Just to keep that in perspective, here's the C4 synth. Oh, gotta change my EQ. So still a great sounding unit, but you know, sounds just a little bit more authentic, a little bit crisper, you know. Just as much body. It's just a fuller. It sounds exactly how a keyboard sounds, but this still has its charm. played the C4 synth. But and then you still got sounds like this, which I've managed to create. It's like having my own little collection of like vintage bass synth type sounds between that C4 synth and this pedal. And you still got like the Mel 9, Key 9 I have as well. So it's like all that stuff together with the vocoder, the V256 by Electro Harmonics, which you can't see. You know, I got an MXR layers, HX1, the Plethora X1, and the MS-70CDR Plus all combined with this pedal is insane. That's insanity. Like, it's just the sounds, the portability. Look at the size of it. It's not even as big as the Hog 2, you know? But and you still, on top of all this stuff we've been talking about, the delay, the reverb, the modulations, the drives, the oscillator types, the envelope types, and the ways you can affect the filters and envelopes and the noise gate. It's got noise gate. It's got a tuner. Of course, it's got MIDI in and out, of course, you know. But all these things, plus you can have your 3 favorite presets set to one bank, so you can easily just no matter what order you got them in, you can access 3 of them at the top. It's a very well thought out pedal. And I have to say, they crammed a lot in there. And not just crammed it to get it in there. They crammed it in there, got it done, and got it sounding amazing. So I was really on the fence about buying this pedal because of the price. I know that it's pricey. $600 is not a little bit of money when it comes to a pedal, you know. But for the flexibility, capability, the poly mode, one thing the C4 synth and the Future Impact V4 don't have is that poly synth part of it. They do, like, the C4 synth has a poly mode, like a poly octaver in there, but it's not very good. It does not sound good. I don't use it on any patches at all. And it doesn't have any polyphony when it comes to the synth part of it. This has polyphony with the pitch shifting and the synth part of the pedal. So, you know, that's worth the price of admission as far as I'm concerned. You can literally never have to take your Keybase rig, or if you do, you can choose, you know, to have this on your pedal board like this. It's already in your rig. You just hook your MIDI controller to it and bam, play Keybase. Or if you don't feel like playing Keybase that day or taking it, you can run the sound with your bass, which is incredible. Something I've always wanted to do. And I've been, you know, doing different things like that with the C4 synth and the Hog 2. Hog 2 also has MIDI, but you can't play it with MIDI, but you can change things. So does the C4 synth. You can change patches and parameters. But this one has it so you can not only change the parameters and the presets, but you can actually play it. You can play the pedal. So that's worth the price to me. And, you know, mind you, they're going to come out with firmware updates. This company seems to be pretty good about keeping up on their stuff. So I know the little gripe about the app they'll fix. It's just that I couldn't get my pedal to properly connect and save my library and all this other stuff. But once I did get it to connect, I could manipulate things, but I couldn't get it to save my library properly. So in case Meris happens to see this and is wondering, yeah, that's the problem. Other than that, this is a no-brainer if you want to do ambient stuff, if you would like to do bass synth stuff, if you want to have that vintage Moog keyboard sound. This pedal does all of that. And on top of all that, you get new modulations, and then they're all in full. You get stereo in and out, right? So you got stereo in and out. You get a 4-channel mixer in there with the left, the dry, 2 dry inputs. I mean, it's 4 signal pass rather, 2 dry, 2 wet. You know what I'm saying? And then you can mix those in different various ways. That's nice. And granted, you know, I have other multi-effects units like the Zoom MS-60B Plus, which pack is available on the Patreon. So my presets for this are on the Patreon as well as the C4 Synth. Both of those packs are on there, and ToneX. 11 different preamp packs and my personal preset pack. But, you know, I'm blown away. I ain't even gonna go no further with this, but you know, I'll be back to do more, create more stuff with you guys. And make sure you hit that like button and leave a comment and let me know if you guys like watching me create these patches. The only reason I haven't done this before with different packs is because I didn't know if you guys would want to sit through watching me turn a few knobs and stuff, because it's a process. That's about how long it takes me to create each patch that I do. That's why I charge. Somebody asked me why I charge for them. It's because 1, it's a business, and 2, it takes me a while. It takes me a while of just trying stuff, you know, figuring it out. So like even this patch, this is what it sounds like out the pack. Compared to this is the built-in factory. That's built in. I think I might have edited that one. See, just missing a bunch of notes when you use the presets. But even if you don't feel like learning how to do all this stuff that I just went through, like I said, just subscribe to the Patreon, allbasscreations.patreon.com, and this pack will be out in the next week or 2, and I'll be doing videos in between then and now. You know, just creating new patches and explaining new things, new comparisons. My next video, I'll be doing the C4 Synth versus the Enzo X, and you know, and just really running them against each other. I'll actually have the C4 Synth editing software open so I can actually do some editing and turn off filters and things like that. And that way we can really compare the oscillator qualities, because Source Audio did an amazing job with that C4 Synth. Like, it doesn't really get the credit it deserves, but it definitely sounds good when you set it up properly and then you use clean technique. Now the Enzo X, the original Enzo, got a lot of love. But this Enzo X, everybody need one. I ain't gonna, even if you're not into this type of stuff, it'll be nice to have one in your repertoire, in your box, because you can easily use it for synth-based stuff, which means all you now need to incorporate is that and a MIDI controller into your setup, versus, you know, carrying around a computer or a whole extra keyboard, which is going to weigh more than a MIDI controller and this little pedal. So definitely check it out when you get a chance. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. If you haven't already, if you feel like it, hit that Cash App super chat, super thanks on YouTube and wherever you are, or whatever it is you could do to help me out on whatever platform. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. This has been another episode of All Bass Creations, effects, tutorials, demos, and reviews.